In this video, I'm going to be showing you where the Trinity is in the Old Testament of the Bible. The first part is the Son. So let's look here at Psalms 22 verse 1, where it says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It goes on to say a few more things, but this is the important part of the verse. And then we go to Matthew 27 verse 46. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema," a different word, a different language. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" So right there we make the two connections. Old Testament verse, Jesus says something in the New Testament, so obviously it's pointing to Jesus. And then we see in Psalms 22 verses 7 through 8, "All who see me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him." And then we have Matthew 27 verses 39 and 40. "Those who pass by hurl insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, 'You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross, if you are the Son of God.'" So right here, it's literally just the exact same thing. They mock him, and then in the New Testament says they hurl insults at him, shaking their heads. Exactly says the same thing, shaking their heads and saying, "He trusts the Lord, let the Lord rescue him." And then right there, "You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself, come down from the cross, if you are the Son of God, and let him deliver him, since he delights in him." So it's just the exact same thing right there. And then we have the third one, which is Psalms 22, verse 16 through 18. "Dogs surround me, a pack of villains encircle me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment." And then we have Matthew 27, verse 35. "When they had crucified him, they divided up his clothes by casting lots." So right there, we have 3 verses from the Old Testament that match up to what Jesus did in the New Testament, they are 3 prophecies about what Jesus was going to fulfill in the New Testament, which is pointing to him being God, or part of the Trinity. The Father is, like, obvious. No one argues that the Father isn't in the Old Testament. But I have 3 verses showing that even if we don't have Jesus directly saying, "Father, forgive them," and calling him Father, we have other verses that show us that he is the Father. So Deuteronomy 14, verse 1 through 2. "You are the sons of the Lord your God, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for his treasured possession out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth." So really just the first part right there. You are the sons of the Lord your God, which shows us that relationship between God and us, as him being the Father and us being the son or the children of God. Psalms 103 verse 13, "As a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him." So here, it's directly comparing God's relationship between us and him, to a father and his children. And then Jeremiah 31 verse 20, "Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he my darling child? For as often as I speak against him, I do remember him still. Therefore my heart yearns for him. I will surely have mercy on him, declares the Lord." So right here, he's asking, is this my son? Is this my child? Again, showing that relationship between a father and the son. And then the Holy Spirit, Exodus 31 verse 3, "And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills." And in the New Testament, whenever Jesus refers to the Holy Spirit as being God, we see the Holy Spirit later being talked about as a helper, a gift giver, someone who gives knowledge and understanding. That's supposed to be Judges 3:10. "The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. He went out to war, and the Lord delivered Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hands, and his hand prevailed over the same big word. So right here at the beginning we have the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. And the Spirit of the Lord began to move upon him at Mahanaim, Dan, between Zorah and Esthro, something like that. Judges 13:25. So right here we have the Spirit of the Lord and the Spirit of the Lord, and he was filled with the Spirit of God, and it's called the Holy Spirit. So we can very clearly point to that being the Holy Spirit. However, you could also still argue with all of these that there isn't such thing as a Trinity. It's just one person. But I mean, very clearly it shows the three different persons, because God the Father is like spirit. He's with us always. The Holy Spirit like gives us gifts, gives us understanding, gives us knowledge and wisdom, and the Son brought us salvation. So it's very clearly three different things, and you can see how the Son, it's showing obviously that the Son is going to be a man, going to be a human being, and so that does make him a different person. If you have any questions about this video, you can put it in the comments section, or you can put it in my Discord server, which is in my bio. It's completely free, and it's my community that I'm trying to grow. I also put daily verses in there, or I try to put daily verses in there for you to read. So it's really an overall great community for you to join.